everybody. Welcome to the 42 Show, the very show that broke the scoop on the love child of King Kong and Godzilla.
Oh, and who was the love child?
Well, he used to be on the show with us, so I don't really want to bring him up by name.
Next show. Oh, dear. Clean up an aisle 4.
Yeah, let's hit the wheel of doom.
Oh, doom, 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 doom. Oh, it's
Dunk
me.
goes first.
Oh, goody, goody.
Isn't that a picture of you?
Yeah, that's my brother. So it was voting day today for the local local elections, and Boris Johnson, lovely little Boris. Well, he fell foul of his own legislation that he introduced as Prime Minister when he turned up to a polling station after failing to take photographic identification. He's the only person in Britain you cannot misidentify. It's Boris Johnson. Yeah, are you sure you're Boris? Oh, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you're Boris.
Exactly,
No problem. Yeah, but Mr. Johnson, who quit as PM after 3 years in 2022, had been trying to cast his vote in the local elections in South Oxfordshire, but polling station staff had to turn him away because he could not produce any ID.
That's hilarious.
That's funny, kind of funny, because when he was Prime Minister, he had no ID either. So sharing a document with a photo identifying the voter has been compulsory since the Elections Act 2022 took effect a year ago. A spokesperson for Mr. Johnson, like he needs one, did not deny he had failed to bring ID, but it is understood the ex-PM did bring some identification later on Thursday and was able to vote for the Conservatives. Well, of course he would. Who else is he going to vote for? He's silly sod. But in 2021, the then Prime Minister and Tory leader said, what we want to do is protect democracy, the transparency and integrity of the electoral process. I don't think it's unreasonable to ask for first-time voters to produce some evidence of your identity. Other forms of identity that will be accepted include biometric residence permits, whatever the hell that is, defence identity cards, and national identity cards issued by the European Union, Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein. I wonder who they vote for.
How did it work before? Were you able to just walk in and vote? Like you didn't have to...
Yeah, you just had your piece of paper that got sent to you through the post, and you just take it along and just put your mark down.
So what if you photocopied that piece of paper and went to like 7 different polling stations? Yeah, look.
That would be fraud, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but it sounds like it would also be easy. It's just,
Yeah, okay.
Imagine an election where 20% more people vote than the population.
Well, that would be remarkable. We're looking to get 20% of the population to wake up for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It is sad. Voter turnout is really low. And with people like this on the play, you got to get out and vote. So, former President Ronald Gump started falsely claiming that he's not allowed to testify at his trial because of the gag order. So, he told reporters, he goes, I'm not allowed to testify. I'm under a gag order, I guess, right? He added, I'm not allowed to testify because this judge, who's totally conflicted, has me under a unconstitutional gag order. He continued by complaining that he's not allowed to talk, even when others attack him, and said again, yet again, and again, so I'm not allowed to testify because it's this unconstitutional gag order. And then there's a little...
What does it do with the Constitution, you tit?
It's so stupid. CNN has a thing they run on their site sometimes, facts first. So the reality of the situation is it's totally BS. He's allowed to testify at the trial. The decision is entirely up to him. Judge Merchan's gag order narrowly restricts his out-of-court speech, and it does not in any way stop him from testifying. Yeah. It doesn't also stop him from lying.
I still find it hilariously funny that he constantly complains about this gag order while he's in a trial about hush money.
Yeah.
when he was trying to silence somebody.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. So
maybe,
if you
maybe
want,
that's what we do. Maybe that's what we got to do is just give him some money to shut up.
yeah, because he just sits there and counts it and counts it and counts it. Sorry, I'm counting. I can't talk now. But if you want to know the truth here, so there's 3 things the gag order deals with. Number 1, speaking publicly or directing others to speak publicly about known or foreseeable witnesses, specifically about their participation in the case. Number 2, speaking publicly or directing others to speak publicly, which is a big part of that, about prosecutors other than the Manhattan District Attorney, Bragg. Don't know why he gets to be picked on, but members of the district attorney staff and the court staff, or family members of any of these people, including Bragg, if those statements are made with the intent to interfere with the case. I don't know why that if had to be on the end. It should just be none. Don't give him an if, because you take it as an out. He just doesn't shut up. He's like us, except, vile. Speaking publicly or directing others to speak publicly about jurors or prospective jurors was point number 3 in the gag order. So, sorry, Trump, but you're just an absolute actual liar. And somebody who knows he's a liar is this man, Robert De Niro. De Niro's been on a tirade lately, and he recently said, I'm tired of calling him names. So De Niro, who
run out.
He just can't be bothered, and it's not even fun. But De Niro, who has previously called Ronald Gump so fucking stupid, a fucking moron, evil, and a con man, described the presumptive GOP presidential nominee as genuinely a sick person who somehow has been allowed into our system. He continued on, this is Robert De Niro, I'm tired of calling him names. He just can't be anywhere near the office of the presidency. He's got not one redeeming thing that I can see in him at all. And then he says, it's fucking scary, excuse my French, but this guy could actually take the office again. And, you might as well just flip switches and call it done. So I officially vote that everybody in Canada has to get a hold of that kid that runs our country right now and demand that we have a Robert De Niro Day as a public holiday. I want it right now.
I think we should vote Robert De Niro in.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah. So a little bit of Trump watch, but it just happens around here. Nothing I can do.
I can't wait for when they actually put Trump on the stand to testify, and then I'll just someone have to say, "Well, can we take that sock out of his mouth now?" Bit of gaffer tape across his face.
Yeah. Sir, I think you're lying. Why? Your lips are moving.
All of them.
Yeah. So, what's the deal with this next story? I don't get this.
I don't know. I can't remember what it is. Oh, yes. Yeah, there's a weird story. Paul Freeman Powell recounted an incident where he was denied access to the car park at Alderhay Hospital in Liverpool because he was driving an electric vehicle. According to Freeman Powell, a security guard informed him that he couldn't park in the car park due to concerns that his EV could explode.
Oh my God, really?
Directing into a car park nearby. Look at it. The sign says no electric vehicles.
Yeah.
No electric vehicles.
Let me zoom that in so there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Look at that. Yeah, the government is mandating electric vehicles only within the next 15 years, but you can't use them to get to the hospital. What am I going to do?
Well, Alderhay Hospital stated that it had temporarily restricted access to the car park while upgrading its fire sprinkler system based on advice from Merseyside Fire and Rescue. The hospital clarified that electric cars could still park in the main hospital car park, and there were 14 spaces equipped with EV charging points available. You just couldn't park in that particular one.
So why didn't the security guard direct him to the right place instead of just punking him off?
Well, he did sort of tell him you can park over there, which was like, nearby. But it's just like, but the guy was rushing, to an appointment, Get this, it's for his 7-year-old son appointment, which he's been waiting for nearly 5 years. He booked an appointment when he was 2, and now he's 7. He's got the appointment, and that's another story there in itself. I mean,
there's a few angles to that make.
I mean, the thing is, the kid would have been 10 if they, 10 years old if they'd actually not been turned away when they went down there to try and give birth. He said, no, you're not on the waiting list.
Yeah,
come back in 3 years. Yeah, but anyway,
can you imagine?
Industry figures, including the Fair Charge campaign group for electric vehicles and motoring journalist Quentin Wilson, you'll know him, challenged the decision, highlighting research indicated that petrol cars are more likely to catch fire than EVs. They criticised the hospital's policy as misinformation and argued that restricting EV contradicts the environmental and health benefits of zero tailpipe emissions associated with electric vehicles. Yeah, so it's all a bit, confusing, really.
I think there's some BS here. I'm smelling it. And what I really think is that one specific car park you're not allowed to park in, that's where the administrators park their expensive cars, and they're just not willing to take the risk.
Well, there was an airport recently, a couple of months ago, where there was a massive fire due to an EV catching fire. Yeah. And they just couldn't put it out. So I guess that's what they're talking about. Remember, the sprinkler system has to be changed in some way.
Yeah. The other side of that is, remember, we were reporting a while back that Kia was telling customers to park their cars outside because there was a fault. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, maybe he was driving a Kia. He recognized it.
They should change the sign, because what they really meant was no Kias allowed.
Yeah. No, electric. Just Paul Friedman Powell. He's not allowed here.
Yeah.
And his 7-year-old sick son.
The last car I can recall that would spontaneously combust was a Ferrari F355, and they aren't electric. So, So here's one. Let me get all my stuff ready here, because I'm all out of whack here. But what's his name there? Emmanuel Macron, French president. I love this guy. He has doubled down on his original statement from way back, where he said he has absolutely no problem with putting troops on the ground in Ukraine. So these are all pretty much quotes from him here. If the Russians were to break through the front lines, if there was a Ukrainian request, which is not the case today, we would legitimately have to ask ourselves the question of, do we send in the troops? Asked if he stood by his comments earlier this year about not excluding the sending of Western troops to Ukraine, Macron said, absolutely. As I said, I'm not ruling anything out, because we are facing somebody who is not ruling anything out. He went on to go, European countries need to protect themselves, the French president said. Oh, okay. Adding that Russia has been aggressive in destabilizing the region, including by threatening to use nuclear weapons. So he says, I have a clear strategic objective. Russia cannot win in Ukraine, period. He says, if Russia wins in Ukraine, there'll be no security in Europe at all. Who can pretend that Russia will stop there? What security will there be for other neighboring countries like Moldova, Romania, Poland, Lithuania, and others? And then there was a meeting of some people, and he said, well, there was no consensus about sending troops to Ukraine, and some people in like the UN and stuff are very, very against it due to threats and, bickering, fighting, war stuff. But he flat out says nothing can be ruled out. And I just love the way this guy goes about it. He doesn't hold back. He's not interested in playing, but political fairness and stuff. He's like, no, screw you, Pootler. And if I have to, I'll come and kick your punk ass myself. I love this guy. Vive la France. Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, man, he's awesome. So, every time you pass somebody in a high vis jacket, just give him a little salute, because he could be French, right?
Or just maybe fixing the road. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it could be, Yeah. So this is funny, man.
Yes. So in China, there's been a massive car show exhibition called the NPR, and they've been, host major automators from around the globe in China's capital from April 25th to May 5th. Oh, so they've still got time. You can get down there this weekend. In a huge conference hall, companies showed both cars already in production and concept vehicles meant to showcase new styles and tech. Amongst one of these cars was a one-off car from Chinese automator Dongfeng that looked a whole lot like the Cybertruck. Yeah.
Totally.
Wuhan-based Dongfeng is one of China's big four state-owned car companies. The firm sells more than 2 million cars a year, mostly through joint ventures with automakers like Honda, Nissan, and Peugeot. On its website, Dongfeng calls the electric car simply 2024 concept pickup truck. Some of its edges are a little bit softer than the
Looks
Cybertruck.
better.
It does, doesn't
It's
it?
better.
It actually looks quite nice.
I like it better.
Kind of stylish, yeah.
The only thing is let me just zoom in here. The back where they try to make it look like the Cybertruck with the sloping back, you can see that was added on quickly at the end. It looked more like a pickup truck originally. You see how that's you see what I'm talking about?
Well, there's a bit about that. Hang on. Oh, yeah, it's got a covered cargo bed above the back wheels. And on the show floor, Dongfeng had a small mattress lying in the back with the tent flaps above it. So, they've turned it into a little camper sort of thing.
Oh, it's larger than your average Japanese hotel room, I'm sure. So.
Yeah, kind of cute. I mean, what did they say? You can walk through the show. It's called both Cybertruck-esque and Sledgehammer-esque. Unlike the rest of Dongfeng's lineup of the show, the concept vehicles were cordoned off, and passerby couldn't open the doors to have a peek inside.
They probably didn't open.
Well, like the Cybertrucks. Yeah, probably scared that once it opened, you'll never get that body panel back to fit.
Yeah, but I tell you this: for a long time, China was just thieving designs from North America. There was a back when BMW first brought out the X5, their SUV, their first one, About 2 or 3 years later, 4 years later, whatever it was, some company in China brought out one that was identical. It was like a complete ripoff. So BMW sued them in China court, and China was like, no, I don't see what you're even talking about. There's no copyright issues here. It's fine. But with this, I think they've just gone, oh, okay, if that's the trendy thing, why don't we actually make it look good? Because it's better. They seem to be hiring like actual designers now instead of just rip-off artists.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously not like the stainless steel construction like the Cybertruck is all based around. It is just like a normal skinned, body, like just like I don't know. Oh man,
it's probably filled with styrofoam just so they could shape it, right?
Well, it's probably just clay at this point.
Exactly. Yeah, But I gotta say, it looks good. Like here, let me just bring that up one more time. I believe that looks better than the Cybertruck.
Yeah,
better rims, better lines on the side. The front treatment. Let me just bring that over. Looks really nice. I think it's great.
Yeah, Elon, take some lessons.
Exactly. Yeah. Stop firing everybody, Elon, because you're not a designer.
All you have to do is fire one and then hire 5 Chinese engineers. That's a lot cheaper.
yeah. And they fit in the same amount of space.
All right. On with the racist news. On to something else.
So this bitch is back. And if you don't know the story, this is hilarious. So Bitch Lips gets herself all worked up and does this MAGA, make Ukraine great again, to try to insult her MAGA people and whatnot into how dare you support this bill.
When I saw that, I've got to say, I first thought that she spelled America wrong.
America.
Sorry, carry on.
But yeah, so it totally backfired and blew up in her face. a channel that I like, and we have them pop around here now and then in the live chat as well, the Midas Touch. They YouTube channel Midas Touch. They are hilarious. They rip the megas and Trump and Taylor Green all day long. It's great. They put out a hat immediately, $45 limited edition replicas of that very hat. All proceeds going to benefit pro-Ukraine charities and help Ukraine, the World Central Kitchen as well, which I really, really like. And she had a meltdown over this, and it totally backfired in her face. And the where is it? So this is the tweet by Midas Touch. Breaking news: Marjorie Taylor Greene had a meltdown over aid being sent to Ukraine and unveiled a new MAGA hat. In her honor, we're now selling the hat with 100% profits going to a couple of groups that do awesome work in Ukraine. And then they followed it up with, it was very thoughtful of Marjorie Taylor Greene to help us find another way to support Ukraine. Chuck you, Farley. So, yeah, I mean, it's her lot in life to just look stupid and fail. Can you imagine being like one of her children? You know, no, I want to be homeschooled. I'm not going in public.
They could just like strap effigies of her onto the front of Ukrainian tanks to scare the Russians.
They'd all come running with hard-ons. Jesus.
Oh, damn. Wow.
So if you can get in time, get yourself a MAGA hat, because it'll be a badge of honor to wear that baby.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Now, why does this picture look so X-Files?
Yes. Behive yourself. Because Ashley Class initially dismissed her daughter's complaints about monsters in her bedroom as a childhood imagination, attributing it to watching Pixar's Monsters, Inc. To ease her daughter's fears, Class gave her a water bottle labeled as monster spray. However, months later, after noticing swarms of bees around the chimney, Class called in a pest control and discovered a hive housing 50,000 bees inside her wall. The thermal camera footage revealed the massive beehive growing inside the wall of her home. Over 8 months, the industrious colony produced a honeycomb and honey weighing 100 pounds or 43 kilograms. Or 45 kilograms. The bees likely entered through the chimney and a hole in the clay pipe. And despite several extractions, a new hive was found, bringing the total number of bees to Class's farmhouse to 60,000.
Jesus.
Beekeeper Curtis Collins, experienced in hive removals, remarked that this was possibly the first floor-to-ceiling hive he has ever encountered. He mentioned that the home insurance would not cover the costs of the damage, estimating her losses to be around $20,000 or £16,000.
What's the point of having insurance if that doesn't?
Oh, yeah, I've not covered you for bees.
See, this is what I've been saying so many times too on this channel, is insurance is supposed to be like a fair gamble between the company and you, right? Usually they make some money, but sometimes they lose because they have to pay out. But they treat everybody as profit now. How can that not be covered on home insurance? Bees ruined one of my rooms and I have to redo the walls. Oh, okay, here you go.
They really should make a list of all the things you're not covered for to make sure you know.
Oh, but they do, and it takes you 12 years to read it. It's ridiculous.
You're not covered by a horse being fired by a trebuchet and landing in the middle of your house, especially on a Tuesday, if it's French.
Yeah.
You know, God's sake.
Yeah, Canadian beavers can eat through your house and it's fine, no problem, unless it's on Good Friday or Easter Monday, and then they will be arrested.
Mind you, I mean, she should have just like jarred the honey and sold it, you know.
But hopefully they do, right? You know.
Yeah, full of plasterboard now.
Yeah. Monsters Inc. honey, right?
Yeah. You know? I mean, a lot of the damage just basically went into the cleanup of the room afterwards because even once they got the thing out, you got like bee shit everywhere. They just, crapping themselves. So it was a mess, a real mess.
You'd have to rebuild that crap, right? That's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these assholes Yeah. There was a military defector killed in a hail of gunfire and then run over by a car in Spain. There was an opposition figure that was struck repeatedly with a hammer in Lithuania, and a journalist fell ill from a suspected poisoning in Germany. Since Vladimir Putin launched the invasion of Ukraine, attacks and harassment of Russians, prominent or not, have been blamed on Moscow's intelligence operatives across Europe and elsewhere. Despite attempts by Western governments to dismantle the old Russian spy networks, experts say the Kremlin apparently still has the ability to pursue those it perceives as traitors abroad in an attempt to silence dissent. Opponents of Putin increasingly fear the long arm of Moscow's security services, including in countries they once thought they were safe in. So, there's a quick report here from one couple. We just escaped Russia and had this illusion that we escaped prison. A journalist, Irina Dolinia. She works for independent outlet Important Stories based in the Czech Republic of Prague. She and a colleague were harassed in 2023, leading to fears they were under surveillance. They were sent threatening messages via comments on the media outlet's website and told not to travel to a conference in Sweden. To underscore the point, the threat included the airline ticket numbers, seat locations, and hotel bookings they had already made.
Wow.
Yeah, man. So she goes on, it was a mistake to think we were safe here. We're not at all. The Kremlin always denies this crap, right? Of course. But, you know, you can go back to like 1940 with Leon Tolsky there. He was killed after an attack with an ice axe. You've got Georgy Markov, a dissident working for the BBC's Bulgarian language service, who died in 1978 in London after being jabbed with a poison tip umbrella. How James Bond is that? Right? And Britain was the site of other poisonings blamed on Russian security services under Putin as well. Defector and former intelligence officer Alexander Litvinenko died after drinking tea laced with radioactive polonium-210 in 2006. And former spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter fell gravely ill but recovered following an attack with a Soviet-era nerve agent in 2018. So, you know, when you hear like Operator Starsky and a few others talk about misinformation and whatnot, and how unbelievably ingrained the Kremlin and Moscow and whatnot is in these campaigns, keep in mind that they're still doing this whole James Bond thing in the background as well. And it how evil can an empire be, right?
Yeah.
You need any more proof? You know? Unbelievable.
Yeah, I hope we have just like, you know, MI6 operatives, you know, out there like Mr. Bond doing, you know, protecting people in ways that we will never know. Just like to think that's happening, or whether they're just like sitting in an office like behind computers. And it's like, you know.
Yeah, and with one of them with a really long rifle and a good scope, just fucking get this guy. You know, he makes everything terrible for everybody, but this is weird.
Cat cop. Yes. Yeah, a junior police officer in Adelaide, Australia, surprised fellow workers after they discovered that the officer is part of the furry community. I nearly said fury. The furry community. The officer, who remains unidentified. I know, he's the one dressed as a cat. I can tell. He's reported to be in their late 20s and based at the police station in Adelaide. You just got to put a little bowl of milk out and you'll find him. Despite their role in law enforcement, the officer leads a double life as a member of the furry community. Earlier this year, other police personnel learned about the officer's affinity for dressing up as a cat when not on duty, and didn't say how. I think he was probably helped down from a tree by a fireman or something like that. But this is, I mean, I could explain what this all is in being a furry. It involves adopting an animal persona known as a
Is it a kink thing, or is it just a chill thing? Like,
it's a Bit of everything, but yeah, they represent their chosen creature, while the officer's unconventional hobby caused some surprising among.
That's not
colleagues.
a hobby. Building models is a hobby.
I don't know. Senior police officers and bosses were unaware of the officer's identity until recently. Yeah, let me just skip some of this story because you don't need to know about his duties and stuff like that.
I'm buffering right now.
But the furry subculture originated in the 1980s and grown globally, with members drawn to anthropomorphic animals, often depicted in media like Disney movies and video games.
All you got to do is grow your hair. It's fine.
Well, who are you dressed as? Are you a cat?
I'm dressed as Dick Dawson. You think I look like this when I'm not on camera?
Many individuals involved in the furry community feel misunderstood and seek acceptance. Yes, you are misunderstood. Very misunderstood.
Finally, something that makes sense to me in this.
One furry named Bandit explained that their fursona serves as a tribute to their dog, embodying his playful and loving characteristics. Wearing the fursuit allows them to embody the different persona and experience a sense of party fun, contrasting with their laid-back personality outside of the costume. Yeah, maybe that's what I'll do with Dixie when she snuffs it. I'll just put a zipper on her and I'll just wear her as a tiny little hat on my head or something.
More like a condom. Jesus.
Oh, too big for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very strange.
I'm sorry if you partake in furriness. If you are one with the furries, I don't mean to be insulting or anything, but none of that explained it to me at all, and I don't get it.
When I explained the story to my daughter pre-show, and I was saying that this furry dresses up as a cat, and she thought I meant I thought I meant something like a police dog likes to wear cat ears or something.
Would that be like animal porn?
Yeah. Yeah. See, that just actually go back to a film that I wanted to make, a short film called Cop Dog, which was about a police officer with his partner who dresses up as a dog, and
right.
he's like he's like a canine. Part of the K9 team, but he dresses as a dog all the time. Yeah, so I say it's come true. It's for real.
it's very I try to be as accepting as I can, and I'm not saying I don't accept that. I just still don't get it.
No, we're not judging. Well, I'm not.
You can't judge giggle when you don't understand, right?
I was a damn good giggle, but we're not judging.
Yeah. But judging did happen in this case. So, Cisco is a huge company that does all kinds of networking products for the world. They're huge, right? And a Miami-based chief executive officer for a company is going to serve a good 6 years in prison for selling counterfeit Cisco equipment to numerous buyers, on Amazon and eBay. And it's all shoddy hardware. There's no mention if there's back doors, but I'm sure there was, right? It's really, really bad. And a bunch of this hardware ended up in sensitive U.S. government systems. Yeah. He's been given 6 years and 6 months in prison for raking in at least $100 million from the sales. He committed the fraud between 2013 and 2022, the year he was arrested. He was selling these products on eBay and Amazon, and he sold a good $1 billion worth of merchandise for a profit of $100 million. I guarantee there's a lot more because he was selling back doors and stuff, but the scheme persisted for nearly a decade. And he would get the gear through all these different companies in China and just get them to, retweak the box to make it look like Cisco stuff and fake the stickers and whatnot. And Where is it here? The counterfeits look real enough to fool even government buyers. The devices were identified in combat and non-combat operations of the U.S. Navy, Air Force, and U.S. Army, such as platforms supporting the F-15, F-18, F-22, some Apache helicopter, and a maritime patrol craft, and the B-52 itself, the
Wow.
big boy. Yeah.
The band.
Yeah. So right now, the American military is just in full-on panic mode to get this crap out, because this is probably one of the reasons that there has been some infiltration over the last bunch of years, right? These things probably were sold with back doors in them and whatnot. I don't know that for sure yet. I will be, monitoring the story, but I'm pretty confident I can call it at this point, right? Oh yeah. So, holy Lord, thunder and Jesus, right? Where do you want to end here? You got two to pick from.
Just go to the next one.
All right. This is a screwed up picture. What the hell's going on here?
Yes. A doctor has warned people not to eat this terrifying looking animal. Yes, because they look delicious. Gnarly pictures of what looked like a mutant animal larvae has recently posted a Facebook group. What is this? A Thai language group dedicated to identifying curious, unfamiliar, and sometimes scary-looking creatures. The picture shows two dead insects coated in a strange casing that protrudes from the top of their heads and shoots out into red and white knobbly stems. The horrendous image caught the attention of Dr. Pakpoom and Deathsadin, who reshared the image on his own Facebook page and explained a little bit more about it. He identified the beast as Wan cicadas, a cicada with a fungus growing out of it that's believed to have a spiritual and psychedelic powers.
I can't even look at that anymore. I'm taking the picture away. Go ahead.
I didn't think you would. I didn't think you'd like that.
I'm about to fucking get sick.
But he calls the creatures look like the stuff of nightmares. He calls them beautiful. I've just seen something beautiful like this. One cicada is a cicada that died from a fungal infection, and then the fungus grew out of the cicada's body. And despite this, the doctor went on to warn people of trying to eat it. What do you mean? Try not to eat it.
Try and make me, fucker.
Yes. What part of something that people look at that and go, oh, that looks lovely. No, thank you. Yeah. He says,
fuck is wrong with people?
Some people took it to worship, and some people boil water to drink because they believe it's medicine, but it can kill them. Toxins from some types of mold can withstand very high heat. Cooked, it is inedible. Don't eat it. Thanks for the tip. Yeah, he only gave it 3 stars out of 10.
Yeah, top tip: don't eat from your own toilet. What the fuck, man?
Don't eat shit.
Oh, okay. So, reminder, everybody, tonight's after show night. As soon as we're done here, the credits roll. There's a redirect, and you'll be right at the second show. We got Ukraine update on Saturday. We might have a couple of cool guests. We might just have the regular team. I don't even know right now. And remember, Sunday as well, we've got Ukraine Beyond the Headlines with CF Beauty, Annette there, and Yana and Olga. So, thanks to the team in the credits, and we'll see you in like 5 minutes on the after show. Be there, be square.
Okay, see you in a bit.
And a big thanks to our